This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me through this journey. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, Albert Lorenzo, LightBlindedFool, Kristen Gilreath, Green Man, and Deyvis Ferreira. And we'd also like to welcome Logan Tyler Story as our newest executive producer level patron. We're super excited to have you on our executive producer team. Thank you so much for your generosity. We also want to thank and welcome Robin Johnson, Eric Trollius, and Aileen Powers to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. We really appreciate your generosity and your support. We honestly couldn't do this without you. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 1 and 2 of Winter's Heart.
Yeah, chapter 1 is Leaving the Prophet,
Yep.
and chapter 2 is Taken. We are officially in this.
Well, yes.
Yeah, this is like the actual start of the book.
This is the start of the book.
Prologues aren't start of the book. That's like the before times.
The prologue was more interesting than... okay. I really was excited.
Yeah.
To pick up where we left off with this exciting storyline.
We gotta play some catch up here on, catch our characters up to speed for what's going on.
It was a slow start.
Okay, alright.
Yep.
I don't know what, out the gates, come on.
Yep, slow start.
Okay.
Compared to the exciting prologue, slow start. And what it could have been exciting.
I mean, I guess so. I don't know how they, in the context of what they're doing, how could it be more exciting?
No, obviously now, but from parents' perspective, this is boring. He's just...
Yeah.
We're just in his head too much.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's my problem.
Okay.
Other people love it. It's
all right.
great.
Well, I guess we'll have to, we'll have to wait on that one. So.
Okay, start us off.
Okay, so this one, I just want to do a couple other relevant, book stats and information, and there's some fun little tidbits here. So, first off, this book, Winter's Heart, was published November 7th, 2000. Mm-hmm. That's a week away from today when we're recording.
Yes.
22 years ago.
And today is when the prologue episode, the first one, was released.
Gotcha, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, immediately it
arose...
Oh,
you know what?
What?
I think that this episode will come out on November 7th.
Oh, okay.
So
well, that's exciting. That's
okay.
Good.
That's cool. 2022.
November 8th. November 7th is a Monday.
No.
Shoot. All right. Okay. Anyways, immediately rose to number 1 on the New York Times hardcover fiction bestseller list.
Of course.
And it's the first Wheel of Time book where the prologue, Snow, was sold as an ebook in advance of the physical release of the book.
Oh,
and it was released in September, 2 months before the November release date. Yeah. And I'm thinking 2000 ebooks. Crazy.
Yes.
Right? A long time ago.
Yeah, I think so.
And then, interestingly, about the cover, because we were talking about, who these people are.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia...
Is it Barrelane?
No. Oh. The cover is showing Perrin, Gaul, Balwer, and Anora.
Oh, Anora.
Barrelane's Aes Sedai.
Okay, well, maybe that's why I think she looks like Moraine.
Yeah.
Because she's Aes Sedai-like.
Exactly. There you go. That must be it.
All right, we'll see, Wikipedia.
Yeah, I guess I can see it. All right.
Okay.
Okay,
so last time we were here, a bunch of stuff happened in the prologue.
Yep.
And none of that really matters for these 2 chapters.
No, it doesn't.
But what does matter for these 2 chapters is the last time we were with Perrin and Fail.
Yes.
So we were with Perrin at the end of Path of Daggers. He was meeting with the Prophet, and that meeting wasn't going well.
Yeah. It didn't go great. It wasn't a complete disaster.
But it wasn't going well, when we left off.
Yeah, it's not one of the meetings you leave and you're like, that went super, super good.
No.
Yeah.
And then Fail had a run-in with the Shido, and that was a bad situation.
Yeah. Got kidnapped.
Yes, she did. Her and the Queen, what's her name?
Alejandra.
That's the one.
Yep.
And
Morgaze. Yep.
And Bane and Shiad.
Yep. And a couple other people
too.
in the party. So
yes.
Yep.
Okay, so we're picking up there.
Yeah.
Now, chapter 1 is called Leaving the Prophet, and initially I thought that meant we were leaving him behind.
Yeah, okay.
And I was like, no, we're taking the Prophet. We're taking him with us. We're not leaving him.
You don't really figure out what's actually happening until the end. You're like, oh, okay, we're leaving him, but I guess he's going to come later.
We're just trusting him to come
later.
Which,
turns out not a good plan.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so the chapter symbol's the wolf.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Now, we're gonna open with our iconic paragraph.
Yes. Are you ready for this?
Yeah? What?
Well, because you always do the thing about where the wind goes.
Ready, yeah.
I still haven't committed any of that.
So here's the thing. I stopped memorizing them a while ago.
Okay, you're just that good.
Before I wrote them down,
yeah.
I tried to see how many I remembered.
Okay.
And I got up to book 5.
That's good.
And that's where I'm done.
Yeah.
That's where it starts getting repeating and confusing. But if anybody is carrying and is tracking this, book 1, Mountains of Mist.
Yep.
Book 2, Mountains of Doom. Book 3, Mountains of Mist. Book 4, Carleon Grass. And those were the ones I was like, oh, I know for sure. Because those ones I really memorized and was really excited about memorizing.
Yeah.
And then I stopped caring about it.
It happens. Yeah.
Book 5, Braham Wood.
Okay.
Book 6, The Forest in Kyrian. And I think that's the first time the wind blows over a forest in Kyrian and then across into Camelin. Like, it was kind of dumb.
Little different.
And then book 7, Braham Wood again.
Ugh, repeating again. Jeez.
Yeah. And then book 8 was Above the Island of Tramalking over towards Ebudar.
Yeah, okay.
So over there.
Kind of get like the start and the finish then, so okay.
Yeah, well that I started tracking like where it's actually going to.
Yeah.
Because that helps me remember where the start of the book is.
Yeah.
But here, the wind is blowing across the Arith Ocean towards Terabon.
Yeah, just to fill us in a little bit.
Yes.
Because that's where all the Shanshan are.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we fly over Amador, and then we fly over towards Avila where Perrin is.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
But first, give us the recap on how Tanchico is doing, because it used to be super shitty, and now it's great. It's better, even though it's because of the Shanshan.
Yeah, no, it's actually kind of like a very interesting perspective of how things are going, because this the opening paragraph, it does talk about how it was in chaos during the initial invasion, but once everything settles down...
We saw it in chaos.
Yeah,
That was when Elaine and Nynaeve were there.
Yeah.
And they made best friends with Aegyanin.
Yeah.
And initially ran into Moghedien. That whole thing was in Tanchico.
But I mean, the whole point about the Shanshan is that, sure, initially there's like a lot of fight back and no one's sure what's going on, but as soon as they actually get in control, they really, really settle down the country for like common people.
Yes.
And except for the big asterisk beside the group of people that get enslaved,
right?
Generally speaking, life is pretty good because
for the general public can't channel,
which is the exact same of how Arthur Hawkwing ran stuff. It's like, hey, you cut out banditry, you cut out the starvation, you cut out all the crap, and everyone's back on their farms and working, whatever. But it's like, is that good enough to be okay with the enslavement?
Yeah.
No, but that's just kind of how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
it's not like a good or it's just that's how it goes with the Shanshan. So, Terabon is not in chaos anymore.
No, there's a new king,
it's
new Panarch.
Who are like loyal to the Emperor, so it's under firm control of the Shanshan.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's going to be a thing.
Right, and we can also talk about farmer Shanshan and craftspeople Shanshan rolling in like it's the return or something.
Oh yeah, they're coming back. That's the thing. And we don't actually know because also...
They're bringing all sorts of weird plants.
Well, I mean...
Don't you know you're not supposed to do that?
Introduce different
invasive
species? Oh no. Unless they're like really tasty invasive species, in which case like bring them over.
Well, no, I don't know. You're really not supposed to do that. You're going to ruin the ecosystem over here, everybody.
Oh, geez. I don't think they're worried about that.
Oh,
so.
They should be.
You know what? I bet there's some sort of like power thing they can do to like make it fine.
Oh, yeah.
It's less of an issue when you can do magic, right?
I suppose, but...
We don't have time for this.
Ecosystem.
Okay. But yeah, then with the wind blowing, you also mentioned the whole Amador situation.
Yeah, it keeps blowing across
the
Terabon-Amadisia border, which doesn't even really exist anymore.
Yeah, and that kind of just is talking about the fact that it's just now Shanshan territory.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, again, is it good, bad? I don't know. If you're cheering for the Shanshan, it's probably good.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And we do kind of get that timestamp too.
Right, because the wind blows over Amador, which is now under firm control of the Shanshan, completely conquered, and we learned that it's been a month and a half since that happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so the wind continues to blow over a bunch of burned up shitty villages, And it finally ends up in Avila, where the Prophet of the Dragon is. And there's no banners here because the Prophet of the Dragon doesn't need any banners.
Yeah. And don't forget, a bunch of the Children of the Light are now chained and laboring.
Cool. Not cool, but like...
Also, F them, so...
Yeah, exactly. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, White Cloaks.
Yeah, okay. Because Amador got taken, right? So, they didn't all, leave, so, okay.
Yeah, I just want to know which White Cloaks are chained and laboring.
Well, probably not the ones you want. Yeah, that's just like the standard rule.
Right.
Is never going to be the ones you actually want, but they don't seem like the kind of people to just, take on new oaths, necessarily.
No.
And go with the flow, but I guess we'll see what happens. Ugh.
Okay, so now we officially get that we are with Perrin in this chapter. He's walking out of the house where Massima is living, and he is not happy. Massima sucks and is also more powerful than most kings.
And also insane.
And crazy.
Yeah.
So Massima's guards are everywhere in the streets here, but nobody really is looking hostilely at them since, this group claims to know the prophet personally.
Yeah.
That's a status thing.
Yeah. And it's a little bit of recap built into this.
Yeah.
Because, they're super loyal, so Perrin and the group can't even leave until, a dude shouts from the window, it's okay to leave.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And we do need to do a quick head count on who's here.
Okay.
From last book. So, he came in with his 2 Ashamen.
Yep.
Balwer, 2 Wise Ones, 2 Aes Sedai with their 3 warders, Elias and Aram. That's the collective crew that is here. Okay,
so when they do get outside, the men that he left behind, who didn't go into the meeting, were the warders and the Ashaman?
Yeah, it was 1 Ashaman left outside, so...
Okay, well, they stand up, and the warders know what the Aes Sedai were feeling during the meeting, so they're super on edge, and then Elias mutters that he thought they were going to have to fight their way out of there.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
and even at this point, we learn in a little bit that the meeting took longer than we initially saw, too.
Yeah, I thought it was, sort of over, but I guess...
Apparently not so much.
Not.
Yeah.
Okay, so Perrin thinks about Rand sending him on this mission to bring back Massima, and now Massima is gonna come, but then he thinks... As always lately, when he thought of Rand, colors swirled in his head, and as always, he ignored them.
Okay.
What does that even mean?
Well, we've seen colors swirling before.
With Rand?
Not with Perrin, with Rand.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've actually gotten this quite a few times now. And from Rand, for example, back in Crown of Swords, Chapter 7, it was when Rand was thinking of Perrin and Mat, the colors swirled, and then he ignores them. Yeah.
Oh,
we've gotten it subtly.
It's a buddy thing, yes.
It seems like there might be a buddy system, but we're not actually sure because we also haven't been in Matt's head for a long time.
Right.
So, but we definitely have.
If they just keep ignoring it,
what does that mean?
That just doesn't matter.
Yeah, and the issue with the Rand perspective with the color swirling is that he's got a bunch of weird things going on.
So many things happening. But it's specifically when he thinks of his buddies. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Perrin is super grumpy about Massima's general outlook towards Rand and how he calls him the light made flesh. It's super weird.
Bunch of weird opinions about stuff.
Yeah, and also recap about how Massima won't touch the power, so no, they can't travel, so they'll have to ride the whole 400 leagues in the snow to Kyrian.
And this is also bad because last book we were talking about, hey, agree with him now.
Yeah.
Conk him on the head once you're back at camp. And then travel anyways.
But the problem is, we have to get him to our camp.
Sure, why? Say, yeah, we're going to ride. Get him out.
But they did do that.
Not yet.
No, they told Massima.
But Perrin's thought process here, there's no thought process of, and once we get back to camp, then we'll just travel.
No. The plan to conk him on the head and just shove him through a gateway is a good plan.
Yeah.
The problem is, first step is we have to get Massima to the camp, and I don't trust that he's actually going to come.
Yeah, that's fair.
So...
Yeah, and I guess maybe... guess Perrin's maybe right about that.
Yeah.
Because, he doesn't show up.
That's true.
We'll get there, but...
Yeah, and realistically, they think about, it would have been so terrible to fight in that place. And it's you literally had channelers standing all around you.
Okay.
You put earmuffs on everybody outside the room. There's literally one other dude in this room.
Yeah.
Conk them both on the head, make a gateway right here, shove him through, and then, leave.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's options.
Or, like, you all go through and then gateway back to your camp and you don't have to ride anywhere. Anyway,
there's at least a dozen options of what they could have done. Like, we can game plan this a lot of ways. And I understand, like, hey, we don't want to rip the town apart because there's a lot of people here.
No, I just said didn't rip anybody apart.
Oh, I mean, that's the thing. It's
Except
like,
maybe that one guy who deserves it.
Right, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Perrin doesn't want anybody to die and channeling whatever, do might as well stuff. But there's options of what we could have done, and we're just not doing.
Not doing any of it.
And it's just, it's how it goes sometimes.
Okay. So now we get a page of Perrin thinking about needing to trim his beard, and he can't do it by himself, but he wishes he could do it by himself. And then finally, Masuri, who's one of the Aes Sedai here, says, "Do you see now why he must be killed?" Yes.
Okay. We also forgot to talk about that. So the negotiations about the plan seem to at least take an hour, if not longer, with Masima.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Perrin doesn't want to hear this discussion again.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, if we finally do get to Cairhien after a year of travel, which is just stupid, Rand's not going to be there.
He's not here, man.
No, get him a message.
Yeah.
He's hopping all around.
Yeah.
Get him. You must have a secret message system. And I know he's on, like, his hopping around move.
Yeah.
But, like...
Yeah.
There has to be.
You'd hope so.
You'd hope that
You have Ashaman. You have, like... There should be option. Again, one of the dozen plans of what we can do. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm sorry.
No.
That's just how it goes.
It's just, I think I'm more annoyed by all of this than anything. So, okay.
And again, this is like Perrin's thought process now. We have time with other reasonable people to maybe come up with a new plan. Like, he has a camp full of people.
Yeah.
You think Barrowland's going to be fine with just riding forever to bring Masima? Like, no. Like, we got here by Gateway. Let's go back.
Also wouldn't be, but we need to get her back. So like, there's a whole thing. Okay. Anyway, so we're riding out of here. We get a recap of everyone who's here, and specifically we get that Aram is super excited, as always, because we might be doing some violence.
Yeah, and also just a big side note on that one, too, because, like, Elias apparently had a conversation with Perrin about Aram. Because keep in mind, Elias knew Aram when he was a tinker.
That's right, yes.
There's, like, a pre-existing relationship there. Mm-hmm. And Elias says to Perrin, as Perrin thinks back, "You did the boy no favor, you helped him let go of what he believed, and now all he has to believe in is you and that sword. It's not enough, not for any man." And we've talked about this too, where Perrin kind of like,
Sure, but how is that on Perrin? Like, Aram needs to deal with his own shit.
I agree.
There's no way that this is Perrin's responsibility.
Well, I mean, Perrin's the leader, right?
Yeah, but Aram has to find something for himself to believe in. That's not Perrin's job.
No, but you could push him in the right direction, too.
God.
I mean, there could be some sort of, like, brotherly love situation.
There could be.
Aram's with Perrin all the time. Like, there's time to form a relationship here, at least a little bit.
Oh, and they probably have. I don't know. He just wants to protect people he cares about. That's, like, what he cares about. So what if he wants to hurt some people along the way?
Oh, no. Danny, these are the controversial opinions.
Oh, man, I know.
Why can't he go and kill a couple of people? Just a few, not a lot.
Like,
just
bad guys.
Yeah.
The bad guys we want to die.
Exactly.
Sure.
See, that's Perrin's issue, is he doesn't want anybody to die.
Yeah, even the bad guys.
Unless when, like, sometimes he kills people, but...
Yeah, you know where you live, right, Perrin?
Yeah, like, we don't have many options here, man.
Yeah. Okay, so they're gonna ride off, but the guards don't clear passage for them until someone shouts from the house, "They can leave now." I guess they checked to make sure Masima was fine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's some sort of system in place here, maybe.
Anyway, we get a recap of this whole town, which is not in good condition. We also learn that Masima has agreed to bring along 100 people on their journey to Rand.
Only 100 people.
Yeah, but it took them an hour to get him down to that amount.
And that was like one part of the negotiation.
Which leads us to believe it was hours.
Hours. Long. Oh, man, it's so long.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're welcome for not having that included in the book.
There we go. So now the plan is for Masima to meet them at Perrin's camp by nightfall.
Yes. And again,
we're just trusting
him.
We'll get to it. Okay. Yeah. So on their way out, Bulwer, who went off on his own, meets back up with them. And as soon as they're out of the town, Bulwer starts telling Perrin in private about the things he learned. And there's 2 pieces of news, and one might be urgent, but not as urgent as I thought.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, Bulwer didn't figure out... Are you talking about the kidnapping?
Yeah, at any point here. Yeah. So they've left the town and they're riding back. at any point,
Sure.
I was expecting Berylane to ride up. Because remember,
okay.
Fael was shouting
Yep.
about getting the message to Perrin,
Yep.
and I'm really hoping that Berylane escaped, because
Totally
I still
fair.
don't know that for sure.
Yep.
And I was like, ooh, that would make this very exciting.
Does that? Okay. All right, so the news, though, because there's
Okay,
news.
tell me about the news.
Okay, so number one, King Aelron, who's the king of Amadicia, he brought the Shanshan to battle near a town about 100 miles west of here about 10 days ago, and now the entire Amadician army is all dead. So keep in mind, in Amadicia, there's the army of the nation, but also there's the White Cloaks. So there's two factions, and King Aelron basically got all the people killed. So they're all dead. And there's not many who made it out.
They didn't have Kalendor. That's their problem.
They didn't have anybody who's channelers
No, I
either.
know. That's what I'm saying.
They only had a bunch of dudes, and that's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, King Aelron was taken captive, along with all of the nobles, so there's no more nobles in Amadicia.
Oh, see, I glazed over all of this. I thought
It's
it was
done.
boring.
Yeah, Amadicia is donezo.
Okay.
We're done.
That makes more sense.
See ya.
See, I just wait for you to explain things to me, and then I like it better.
Yeah, I mean, that's the number one thing. And number two thing, sort of number two, the number two not thing, is that the White Cloaks also took part in the battle, but then apparently
Managed to
Valda,
escape just in time.
basically everybody got out. And just like think back to the Shadow Rising, the Two Rivers battle,
Yeah.
they don't even like fight in all the battles, so
No.
like probably didn't do anything useful. But Valda made it out with pretty much all the White Cloaks.
Valda.
No one knows where they are, so we got a bunch of White Cloaks loose. And Balwer thinks that they're like probably heading towards Abila, where they are now, just based on like heading away from the Shanshan, but we don't actually know. And then this is where we see the first reference to Perrin seeing a hawk flying away north.
Mm-hmm.
And, guess who went hawking this morning?
Yeah, okay.
The hawk. The hawk.
I got it.
That's the
no,
hawk.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yep,
there was
we
a
all
kidnapping, Danny.
We get it.
That's
we
the hawk.
understand.
Oh, man, okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I think there were several hawks. I don't think there was just one.
Well, there was at least one, and he's gone
One
now.
got off.
Yeah. He's like, fuck this, I'm gone.
Goodbye.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, and there's more news.
Oh, yeah, and then, so Perrin tells Balwer, like, hey, the White Cloaks probably aren't interested in us, because Balwer's saying, hey, they might be headed directly towards us. And he says, oh, the White Cloaks are probably trying to avoid the Shanshan, and they're not going to be interested in us. So, like, I'm not really worried about the White Cloaks.
Yeah, right. You know who's looking for a mission right now?
The White Cloaks?
Probably the White Cloaks.
Yeah, probably. And Perrin's like, I can't move faster anyway, so, like, even if they are heading towards us, we'll deal with it.
Like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, and then it turns out the second piece of news, and, like, the real piece of news, is that the Shanshan fought another battle in southern Altara, maybe against the Aes Sedai, but apparently there was male channelers, so that's definitely Rand and his crew. But whoever they fought, it's clear that the Shanshan lost and were sent running back to Ebu Dar.
Right.
So, I mean, that's kind of cool.
And then Perrin thinks, oh, that was probably for sure Rand, if there were male channelers, and then that means Perrin doesn't have to worry about warning Rand about the Shanshan.
Yes.
Because he already knows.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Then Perrin watches the hawk up in the sky. It's flying away. It makes him think of Fael, and he tells everyone to pick up the pace because he really wants to see the love of his heart right now.
He can't wait. So also, just as like a side note, so we just recorded our Q&A.
Yes.
And in that Q&A, I mentioned Loyal.
Yeah.
And here, Perrin thinks about Loyal and where he's at right now.
Yeah, which we didn't talk about. All of Path of Daggers.
Yeah.
Or for the Book 8 recap.
Yeah.
Loyal didn't even come up, and I went, hey, where's that guy?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know he's on his mission to seal up gateways with an Ashman.
Waygates.
Waygates. Can't seal.
Jeez. Yeah. Totally different. Totally
different, of course. I'm an idiot.
Him and Ashman are off trying to seal him up and talk to all the elders of all the different settings.
So we'll see. We'll see
about
that.
At some point, we just got to write up on him. But anyways, we're going to,
that guy.
Let's go see Fael. Perrin, let's do that.
Right. And no Berylane riding up.
No, not that.
And I was like, oh, that's just going to end here? Okay.
Well, it's good that we're doing 2 chapters. Right?
It is good.
Yeah,
yep, that was a short one. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll jump into the second one. Okay, here we are back for Chapter 2, Taken.
Yeah, Perrin is the original Liam Neeson.
Oh, yeah.
Taken, good movie.
I feel like we've talked about that before.
Maybe.
That reference has for sure been used.
I mean, a bunch of people get kidnapped all the time, so...
That is true.
It's a pretty common theme in Wheel of Time.
Yeah, Rand. Rand was taken.
Yeah, a bunch of people.
Yeah.
during TSR, also, when everybody gets kidnapped, like the villagers and stuff.
What?
There's a whole thing. Anyways, it's not important.
What villagers get kidnapped? By whom?
Like Egwene's dad and like everybody by the White Cloaks and the whole
by the White Cloaks.
Yeah, there's like a whole thing. A bunch of people get taken.
Was it Egwene's dad?
Pretty sure he was there.
I thought it was like Lou with the Lou-hands.
Maybe. I can't remember. There's a bunch of people.
See?
There's a whole bunch. It happens so often.
Many people.
At some point, everybody, literally every character at some point gets kidnapped. It doesn't even matter. Yeah. It's a whole list. There's a whole list.
All right, taken.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
This is actually called that, though.
I know. That's what, hence the reference.
Okay.
There we go.
Chapter symbol. Wheel and snake.
Yep.
On with the pattern.
Let's do it.
On with the show. We're going to stick with Perrin.
We're doing it.
So Perrin and his group take a while to get back to their camp because, it's super snowy.
Yep.
So it's around the middle of the afternoon by the time they make it back. And when they get there, it's not as Perrin was expecting.
Yeah, here's the excitement you're looking for.
Well, I had to be like, what's happening? So the camps are still all spaced out, but everything's kind of abandoned. Perrin doesn't really know what's going on. He looks up to the hill, and there's the Maenan soldiers who are mounted and looking impatient. We have the Gildanin soldiers who are all mounted and facing the Maeners.
Yeah.
And then we have the Two Rivers men who have their bows out facing all the others.
Yeah.
Like guarding the Aiel, who
Honestly,
are all crouched and veiled behind the Two Rivers people.
Yeah, it's one of the chapters, again, that makes way more sense after the fact. But initially reading it, when you first ride up on the camp, it's like, oh, it's like abandoned. It's abandoned camp. Like, oh, did they all ride out and go? Are they all gone? But it's like, no, they're just over there.
Yeah, and what are they doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have some servants like huddling together. But
I know. I really didn't get that they were facing each other until later on.
Yeah.
I thought they were all like mounted and ready to go.
Yeah.
Like together.
Totally, yeah. It kind of reads like that, but no, turns out not quite what's going on.
And Perrin is thinking, this is madness.
Yeah. And we do learn here that the Gildanin army, like Leandra's men, are roughly comparable to the Maeaner army. So he just has another faction, like another 1,000 soldiers, basically. So
so Perrin gets up to the army, and we learn Barrelane is here.
Yeah.
And now, can I just say, I love this. Because I really thought Fael's whole, Perrin has to learn this news! Ride to Perrin right now!
Yeah.
And I was talking about, really? Does he have to know it right now? Is it really that urgent?
It is not. There's other.
And so Barrelane didn't listen to Fael and her screeching about this.
Yeah.
She just went back and was like, okay.
Yeah.
Everybody probably should have come back.
She had a mess to clean up here too.
Yes.
And if it was all calm, then she still wouldn't have left.
No, well, yeah, the mess was already starting to happen, which we get into later.
Yeah.
But Barrelane went back thinking that anybody else who escaped would just go back to camp.
That makes sense.
And then we can regroup and figure out what's happening.
Not like go to camp and then go. It's like go
directly. I'm not just gonna escape and ride straight for Perrin so that he knows that Massima talked to Shanshan.
Yeah, and you're gonna ride up on this crazy town.
We can assume Massima talked to the Shanshan.
Yeah,
that's an assumption we can make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Barrelane's also got her captain.
Yes, Galen.
Yeah, and then Anora as the cover.
Maybe.
That's what the internet says.
I know.
The internet never lies.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Also, Galen only has one eye.
Yeah.
And his name is not Uno.
No, you didn't even pick up on the one eye because of his name.
No.
Yeah.
Not even any other language.
Pretty sure we talked about that at least once before, but I mean, it's fine.
Okay. So they're arguing with Aleandra's first captain, Arganda.
Yeah.
Who is very agitated because Aleandra, the queen,
got taken.
Is gone.
Yeah. Yep.
And so.
But that's technically he's not irritated at that fact. He's irritated that he can't
just attack these Aiel who would just murder him.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what he's really seeming to be upset about now.
Well, no, I think that he is agitated that Aleandra's gone. He wants to be proactive and be doing something.
So I want to torture the Aiel. Well, they're all Aiel. Come on.
Let's ask them lots of questions. We have to at least question them.
Yeah.
And I see where he's coming from. I think it's dumb, But I see where he's coming from.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so Perrin shows up and they all break off. Perrin can smell the trouble, but before he can ask what's going on here, Berylane launches into an explanation.
Good.
She tells Perrin straight up, and I like this.
Yeah.
Berylane is one of the best communicators.
Yeah.
She just tells exactly what's happening.
Yeah, we're not beating around the bush. It's just like, this is what happened. You gotta know this. You're the leader.
They were out hunting.
Yeah.
They were attacked by Aiel. She escaped. No one else has returned yet. So she's already sent out scouts because they were about 10 miles southeast of here, and they should be reporting back by night.
I like it. She gave all the facts. She didn't, like, butter it up at all.
Nope.
She's just like, this is what we know.
And she's not like, they're for sure dead, or I don't know where they are. Like,
doesn't even do like, oh, I'm sure Fael will be okay. She's just like, here's the facts, dude. Like, here it is.
And before Perrin realizes it, he is just shouting.
Yeah.
Why are you all still here? Why aren't you all searching for her? What are you waiting for? What's going on?
He's getting like the rage blinders in his head, and I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Berylane is like, listen, we were ambushed by like 200 to 300 Aiel, and there could easily be a dozen more bands in the country. If they chase after them, well, they might end up fighting a random group, and they don't even know if Aiel is alive at this point.
And they're probably going to get all murdered. At least half of them are going to get murdered, because like they're Aiel, and we're not going to fight them. So.
Yeah, and then Elias butts in, because he sees Perrin is struggling with this.
Real struggling, yeah.
And he's like, she's right. Hold on to yourself. Don't make mistakes with the Aiel. You'll die, and then you're just going to leave Aiel prisoner. Yeah. And you'll be dead.
It doesn't help if you're dead if she's still kidnapped. So, like, yeah.
That's right.
I really appreciate that Elias is here. Mm-hmm. He's done a lot of good work. He not only fixed their marriage. Right. Which they had, like, a good solid 2 weeks of marriage now. But, you know, because she's gone now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he's helping talk them through what's going on.
Yeah.
It's good.
And then eventually Perrin does agree to go along with this plan because there's not really another option.
Yeah. He also tries to, like, soften things a little bit by being like, hey, man, she might still be alive. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Also the whole, like, oh, I'm going to go out totally not looking for her body.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to go out searching to help.
Well, I'll go talk to the wolves.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's
what he wants to do.
That happens, too.
Yeah, so Elias is going to head off to help with the search with Aram.
Yeah.
They go together.
They don't seem to necessarily like each other that much, but...
I don't know. It's fine
It's fine. It's not terrible.
Nope.
Yeah.
So Perrin is trying to keep it together. 3 of the warders follow after Aram and Elias, which is good. That's nice. Good trackers.
Yep.
And then for a while, a bunch of little groups have, like, different conversations all over the place.
Yeah.
And then...
It's one of those times where we're kind of in Perrin's head and watching him be impatient about the situation. So he's just, like, observing all the groups just kind of doing what they gotta do. Mm-hmm. And him getting, like, built up and pent up about this, so...
Right, and at this point, he does think about the only thing he can do while he's just sitting here, and it's reach out to the wolves.
Yeah, but it turns out, don't ask wolves for advice on a kidnapped person.
No, they don't care.
Oh, it's so bad. This is like the worst. This is the worst. This is terrible advice.
Well, he does find the wolves.
Oh, man.
And they've heard of young Bull's loss.
Generally, I love talking with the wolves. Generally, I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
But this time... No.
They're just like, oh, man, we don't know.
Hey, man, I understand.
We can't tell the difference. We've been keeping clear of all the 2 legs.
Not only that, but they're like, hey, dude.
You should probably just mourn, move on, and see her again in the wolf dream.
I understand that you just found out 2 minutes ago about your kidnapped wife, but have you thought about forgetting about her and just, like, moving on? Because, like...
I know, it's so bad.
Oh, man. Okay.
Okay, so while Perrin is reaching out to the wolves, Argonda is here and yelling at him, are you listening to me? So Perrin snaps back, and Argonda looks almost as crazy as Massima's men, and he's smelling like rage and fear. And Perrin says, listen, we'll find your queen when we find my wife.
Yeah.
My wife!
That's my wife!
Right.
Yeah.
And then he asks him why he had all his men lined up, ready to charge. Like, what was going on here?
Yeah.
And Argonda's like, well, listen, Berylane says it was the Aiel that took Alejandra, and so there's Aiel right there. I'm gonna go find out what's going on.
I'll go calmly ask them a series of questions about what they did with the queen.
Clearly. Yeah, and then Berlane comes up and is like, listen, I already explained to him that our Aiel aren't the same as those Aiel.
She tries to touch. She puts her hand on Perrin's arm.
Ugh. Yeah. And Perrin
Don't try and glaze
off.
over that. Don't try and glaze over. I know you tried to.
Nah. But just like, it doesn't matter enough to me.
Oh.
I know.
Okay.
She's just, you know?
She's doing her thing.
Yes, she is.
Okay,
so anyway, he lays down for Arganda how it's going to be here. He says, Alejandra swore fealty to me. You swore fealty to her, so I'm your lord.
Yeah.
I said we'll find her when we find
my wife. Yes.
Now get back in line.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Go on. Get.
It's a Gordon Ramsay situation in like Hell's Kitchen. It's like, get back in line, you donkey.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's how I envision him right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. I like that.
It's good.
Well, it works. It puts Arganda back in his place.
It does. It seems to.
So after he leaves, though, this is where Berlane keeps up her crap.
Yep.
Berlane tells Perrin that he handled the situation so well and reaches out to touch him again. And Perrin says, quit it! Quit it, woman!
Yeah. I gotta get your take on this whole situation because it's kind of weird.
Well, he's like, I have no patience for your childish games.
Yeah.
Like, that's how he sees this. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I can't believe it.
It's not a childish game.
Childish games. It's two women contesting over you with you being the prize. I thought you'd be flattered.
Yeah.
And Perrin's like, what? I've never considered you. Ever.
And also, it's just like the wolves where Berlane's like, hey, I understand you just lost your wife.
But have you thought about me? I'm
right?
here.
Yeah. But Honora steps in too, because then after Berlane rides off, and then Honora's like, oh, you're an idiot, Perrin.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Explain that one for me.
Sometimes you're a fool. Yeah. No one knows what she's talking. I don't know.
Honora just like is secretly writing fan fiction about Berlane and Perrin together.
Well, I
like,
think that she likes the idea of Perrin, who is probably going to be some big lord. You know,
elevates the status of her situation, perhaps. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just at this point, Berlane, back off.
Yeah.
It's not two women contesting over a man. It's a man who's married.
Yeah. And I mean, okay, hypothetically, depending on the type of person Perrin could be, like, this could be a thing that could work
but
if Perrin was a different person.
Never one time has Perrin ever entertained this idea with Berlane.
Yeah, okay.
She needs to stop.
Yeah, I agree.
I always thought she was doing this more to just piss off Fael.
Well, I mean, Berlane also wants to be...
But Fael's not even here. So, like, that's annoying to me, because I always thought that was kind of funny.
Berlane tries to attach herself to powerful people to help her nation.
Yeah.
That's literally her entire MO.
Whole thing.
That's the whole thing she's trying to do.
I know, but this is the wrong one.
Well...
Now she's, like, I thought she was
Rand was the wrong one.
It was a very wrong one.
Matt is too much like her.
Oh, I remember.
So who else is there? It's Perrin.
That's it. Those are the only three. That's it. Okay. Well,
see? Now you get it.
I think she does need to stop at this point.
Okay,
so everyone starts riding back to their camps and are all super wary about the situation, and Perrin takes note of the wise ones who are all sort of acting like nothing's happening, but Gull and the maidens are still veiled.
Yeah, they're ready for it.
And so Perrin goes, or Daniel comes up to Perrin, I think. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
So he comes up and he's like, I didn't know what to do, Perrin. By the time I learned what was happening, everyone was just headed this way to get the Aiel, so I...
circled up around him, I guess, and it's like, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't technically need the Two Rivers men to defend the Aiel. Like, actually, to be fair, there's not actually that many Aiel here.
That's true, and they're mostly maidens and wise ones. Not that like, matters, but...
But there's not a lot. There's not a high number count, and there are, like, 1,000 of the Gildennen.
Yeah, and if there's, like, another layer...
It helps.
Yeah.
It helps.
Especially of Perrin's men, right? Yeah. Like, that matters, too.
It's a tricky situation, but I guess it seems like it worked.
But luckily, Berlane showed up in time before anything happened to tell what's going on. And Perrin's like, you did a good job, man.
Yeah.
Be ready to ride as soon as we get any word from the scouts.
Yeah, because we also don't know where they went, or we don't know anything. No. So, and also, Berlane did do a good job of the political dealing stuff.
Yeah, she did it. She did fine. So Perrin stops in front of Gull and the maidens, who are still veiled, and he says, "Find her for me, Gull. All of you. If anyone can track Aiel, it's you." And then they seemed very tense before.
Yeah.
And now they're relaxing.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd situation.
As if they weren't sure what Perrin was going to think of this. And then he's like, what? They think that I would blame them?
It's like, maybe.
Well, kind of.
Maybe, yeah.
But Gull says, we all wake from the dream one day, but if she still dreams, we'll find her.
Yes, dreaming meaning if she's still alive.
Dead.
No.
I know. Well, no, we all wake from the dream, meaning die.
Life is the dream.
Got it.
As is in row, row, row your boat. It's literally a thing.
Life is but a dream.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. And even
I just sang the song in my head.
Yeah,
and then,
The Aiel funeral song, too. Like, there's levels to this.
Oh, I don't know that one even a little bit. Okay.
Well, we saw the Aiel.
No, you think I remember?
That's cool.
No, I don't.
That's fine.
I don't remember.
It's fine.
Okay. Where they buried them standing up? That
exactly.
part? Okay, I do remember. Okay.
There's things in your brain.
I know.
You know. You're a part of this now.
Okay. All right. Anyway, it's just all stuff happening, you know?
But, I mean, that's what has to happen. We have to catch everyone up to speed, and then we gotta go start this whole, like, rescue mission. Yeah. That's what these 2 chapters should be.
Okay.
So it's a little bit slow because it's Perrin who wants things to go faster. You're feeling the same way Perrin is feeling.
Okay. Fair.
That's how the writing always goes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have Gull leading the way instead of the maidens, probably because Bane and Chiad are also gone.
Which one does Gull like better or more?
Chiad.
Okay.
Right?
You're correct.
Am I right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you.
Oh, and also, this is where Perrin's like, oh no, I didn't ask about anybody else that got captured.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I'm
bad
the
leader.
worst.
Yeah. Which, is understandable under the circumstances.
But also...
I mean, he should, but also understandable, so...
Yeah.
I mean, everybody cuts him a little bit of slack here.
Okay, so everyone who was on the hilltop is moving now, breaking down the camp, getting ready to move, and Perrin is watching everyone, getting more and more frustrated, and then thinks, oh shit, Missima's supposed to be here tonight.
Yeah. You know what? It's so funny, because honestly, every time I read this chapter, I also forget that Missima's supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Like, I always forget. It's like, oh yeah, because we just left that. And it's totally like, we're like, hot on the trail. Let's go find Fael. Let's do this.
No, I didn't forget.
He's supposed to be here.
I was
tonight.
like, yeah, I know. Anyway.
Gotta deal with this asshole. But
right.
Okay.
Yep. And then we get an Asherman conversation here where they want to go traveling.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna blast up a bunch of Aiel to bring her back.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay. Mm-hmm. So.
I'm fine with it.
No,
except that they're with all the wise ones who can channel.
There we go. Yeah. That's the problem. Is that
that's the group they're with? Yeah.
Yeah, that is literally the group. Is like all the Aiel channel. So if these 2 Ashermen just like went off and found them,
and they're too cocky, so
pretty arrogant at this point. It's like, hey, if you get a couple of women, like you're gonna get like sure you can do damage, but you guys are getting taken out. And then Perrin doesn't have any Asherman besides the fact that like we don't want them to die personally.
Yeah. So. And that's not even part of why he doesn't send them.
No, it's not.
It just happens to work out.
He also is like, oh, maybe I should go with them because they can't track. They suck at tracking. But I can track, but I should send a better tracker. But no, turns out no.
Yeah.
I mean, he does kind of like work it through. He works through all the
and he's like, you know what? We're going to have to deal with Missima and then the Wise Ones and Arganda. And there's a bunch of things happening here, so we need you here.
Do it the right way. It's not going to be like an overnight rescue mission.
Right, but at this point, Perrin doesn't give them a chance to argue with his decision, so he walks off towards the Wise One's tent.
Yeah, this is good.
And it's tied shut because they don't want to be disturbed.
Yeah.
And then Perrin considers just opening it up anyway.
He pulls out his knife. He's gonna do it. He's like he's gonna do it. He's gonna cut his way into the Wise One tent.
And then Nivarin, one of the Wise Ones, comes out and is like, what do you want?
Yeah. Well, she looks and she's like, okay.
Yeah. What do you want? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then Perrin's like, how will they treat her?
Oh, he's struggling.
Yeah. And they're like, I don't know.
This is all new. This is new to me, man.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. We're not supposed to take wetlanders captive.
Yeah, except for those filthy Kyrian tree killers.
Right.
But even that's different now because they don't do that anymore.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of interesting
because
the hell
knows?
Well, Rand basically came along and broke all their customs, so who knows?
Yeah.
And Perrin doesn't like that answer.
Doesn't like that answer, no. And the Wise One says, calm down. I don't think it'll help if we have to tie you up. until you calm down.
Yeah.
Now stop bothering us.
Yeah.
While we're in a meeting.
Everyone's going to be like, why is Perrin tied up? And it's going to be because it's going to be your own fault.
It's going to be your fault. So calm the F down.
Yeah.
Just chill. Chill out.
Oh, and then we get probably the best advice in the entire series, hands down. Debatably picking this chapter for the best chapter of the entire book, but I'm not going to.
No, you're not.
No, but Navarin says, hey, if you're having a tough time right now,
have you thought about getting drunk?
Have you thought about drinking as much as you possibly can until your brain stops working?
Yeah.
It's like, hold up, this person is like in emotional distress because his wife just got kidnapped, and you're like, drink as much until you can't think again.
And like literally in the next couple of hours, he might need to use his brain.
Like no, bad advice, but like good advice, but bad advice.
Also, like, Massima's coming here tonight. Like
this is the chapter of bad advice. Hey, have you thought about forgetting about your kidnapped wife from the friggin' wolves? And then Barrowland's like, hey, how about me? No. And they just get wasted.
How about us Ashaman go and just decimate some Aiel?
Us three. Yeah. Let's just go. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
No, guys.
No.
Okay, everyone needs to shut up.
Right. Okay, so there's nothing for Perrin to do right now, so he walks back to his tent, but that's a terrible idea, since it's the tent he shares with Fael, and it's full of Fael memories.
Oh my god, yeah.
And so all of the Two Rivers men are getting things ready, and he's glad that none of them have come to give him sympathy. But then he realizes pretty quickly here that there's nothing for him to do here either.
Because Basil Gill is being like
doing his job.
Doing all his stuff.
And then Linny is here to say, take care of the men and the horses first, but then you must take care of yourself.
Which is good advice. It's like, dude, go eat something because you look like you're going to kill everybody. Yeah.
Murder walking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is, again, good advice. That's like the only good advice.
This is where Perrin is like, oh, Magdan was with her.
Yeah.
Magdan / Morgaze.
Yes. Yeah.
And he says, I'll get them back. All of them.
Yeah.
And then he leaves.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he doesn't even really know where he's going until he's outside of the camp, heading to a ridge where he can look over and see anyone returning.
Coming back from scouting,
And his nose tells him he's not alone. Well, before he gets there, it's Talonvor.
Yeah.
Talonvor's up there.
He's also having a tough time.
And when they're up there, they really don't talk.
No.
Neither of them say anything. They
both
stand there until night comes.
Having a tough time. Yeah. Waiting.
Nobody comes.
Waiting for their ladies to come back. Or news about their ladies.
News about the ladies.
Yeah. Like, Perrin knows about the Talonvor Magdan situation.
Yes.
So, like, there's some mutual understanding.
Right. But here's the thing. Massima also doesn't show up. And now it's full nighttime.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing.
And Massima's not here.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how could you ever see that happening? Ah, no, him and his 100 men didn't just, like, show up?
Yeah.
So what happens now?
Yeah.
Do we go back for Massima?
I don't know.
Do we scrap that plan and just, like, go try to rescue Fael?
I think maybe we could, like, gateway in at this point.
Oh, now we do the gateway.
Now we do the gateway situation, because, like, we gave you a chance.
Yeah.
We tried to do this the nice way.
Yeah. Now they could make a gateway, like, directly
into his
into, like,
house.
You know, where, cutting people in half, whatever.
Oh, well.
You know.
Shoulda came when you were supposed to.
Here's the real question. I had to look up a word, because I don't know what a gibbous moon is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger than a semicircle, smaller than a circle.
Yeah.
And it comes from the Latin gibbous, meaning hump.
Oh.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
I did know that one.
I thought it was funny.
One of the phases of the moon.
Yeah.
Because it can be either in a waxing or waning cycle.
I know those words, but I never heard gibbous, and I was like...
Yeah, gibbous moon, yeah.
Okay.
That's funny.
I found a spelling mistake, too. There's a lack of a space between the words as and warm when Perrin was thinking
as warm.
The Two Rivers
it's a new
camp
word.
was as warm.
As warm. It's one word. It's supposed to
swarm.
Be. It's swarm.
Swarm. Maybe it's a swarm.
No, it's not. It's
actually, it might be a swarm with activity.
Oh, that's a word.
Oh, yeah, that's a word. That's not a spelling mistake.
That's not a spelling mistake.
Oh, man, that's a word. Oh, no.
A word.
I should look up that.
A swarm with activity.
Like a bunch of bees.
Not as warm as activity. That wouldn't make sense.
The entire sentence didn't make sense to me.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
This is a she turned her black down the alleyway situation all over again.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. Hey, we all learned something today.
I
learned 2 things today.
You learned
gibbous
something.
and a swarm.
A swarm. Mm-hmm.
All right, that's good.
Okay. Well,
we're into Winter's Heart now.
We're into it.
You
and
know
you know what? I actually just Oh.
Oh, we said the same thing.
I know.
Okay.
It's because we say that about 18,000 times an episode.
Yeah, that's true.
And I also say, let me tell you,
Hmm.
a lot. Let me tell you, though, I went upstairs for our break, and it's snowing for the first time this year.
Gross.
But I thought that was actually quite fitting.
I'm glad that it lasted past Halloween.
Yes.
It's very
Halloween was
beneficial.
nice yesterday for the trick-or-treating, but we're into Winter's Heart.
Oh, it fits so perfectly.
Snowing.
Okay.
Here, Perrin and Talonvor are standing there as the snow starts falling. Snow just started falling here.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't want it to be
I'm so
snowing.
not ready for no.
No, and it probably won't stick around just yet.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But anyway, there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so before you go and take some really bad advice about how to just get over your wife who's missing, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Well, that's the end of another fun episode. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett, with Essen, Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Megan Smiley, Jonathan Reese, Margaret, and Charlie Haz, with music by Audionautics. If you are interested in supporting us and the podcast, and also getting some really cool exclusive merch and access to early episodes and bonus episodes, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and us, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, things like that, for all things The Wheel Weaves, you can go to thewheelweavespodcast.com. Please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference. And tell a friend about us because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening because this really is part of the pattern now.